Have you ever wondered what happens when a country which is a perfect fit for a big global club suddenly gets rejected? That's exactly what happened to Singapore recently. One of the richest, most stable, and most connected countries in the world tried to join BRICS. But China and Russia both clearly said no. This news surprised the whole world. On paper, there's no reason for it. Singapore is a financial giant. It has the trust of investors, the respect of neighboring countries, and it is right in the middle of the world's most important trade routes. BRICS, which wants to challenge Western dominance, might have seen Singapore as a perfect prize. But here's the real twist. This rejection wasn't about money. It was about power, about loyalty, and about who BRICS can trust in this changing world. So the question is, why was Singapore rejected? What were China and Russia afraid of that made them want to stop such a strong Asian country? And what does this decision tell us about the future global power balance? If you want to know the answers to these questions, stay until the end, because once you understand this deep strategy, your view of world politics will change forever. When it comes to BRICS, people often only look at numbers, population, GDP, trade. But BRICS is not just math, it's a symbol. Every new member sends a message to the world about what this group stands for. Just like the IMF and World Bank have always been seen as tools of the West, their rules come from Washington and its allies. BRICS stands as an answer to this. It tells countries, you don't need to play by Western rules anymore. You can be part of a new system. That's why expansion matters. Including a country isn't just about what it brings, but also about whether it fits the story. Countries like Iran or Ethiopia might not be rich, but their inclusion sends a message. BRICS is not just a club for the wealthy. It's an alliance for independence. By the same logic, rejecting someone is also symbolic. When China and Russia stopped Singapore, it wasn't just closing a door. It was saying, we will decide who fits into this new system. Not everyone fits that. Why did Singapore want BRICS membership, and why does its rejection matter? Singapore is a city-state that's smaller than many airports in the world, but in terms of GDP per person, it's among the highest. Its economy isn't based on natural resources, but on trade, finance, trust. It has one of the busiest ports in the world. Money flows into its banks from everywhere. But Singapore's identity rests on a very delicate balance. On one hand, it has a deep military partnership with the US. The US Navy uses its bases. On the other hand, China is its biggest trading partner. Chinese investment powers its financial hub. Joining BRICS was part of Singapore's survival strategy. It could protect itself from US dominance. Strengthen Singapore. Place in a multipolar world and join BRICS' de-dollarization effort. But there was a problem here. Logic doesn't open doors. For China and Russia, Singapore's close ties with the US were a big question mark. Its neutral image wasn't enough. In a world of power blocks, trust matters more than trade. For China, Singapore's case wasn't just about economics, as it was political and strategic. Singapore is very close to the West and very much tied into America's security system. But in China's eyes, this makes it unpredictable. In contrast, China included Iran because Iran openly rejects Western pressure. Iran proved its loyalty, but Singapore plays both sides. Rich, powerful, respected, but reliant on America for defense. Russia's view was similar. For Russia, BRICS isn't just an economic club, but a shield against Western sanctions. Singapore's gleaming financial hub is actually connected to Western markets. If such a country were included, BRICS might look like an ordinary trade club instead of a fortress of opposition. So, Russia and China agreed on one thing. BRICS means opposing the West. There's no place in it for those who try to stand in the middle. And the shadow over this whole game is America. America is deeply involved in Singapore's defense structure, its ports, its air bases, its intelligence sharing. Everything works with America. For BRICS, including Singapore, would have been like inviting a Trojan horse inside. That's why, when you compare, Saudi Arabia is also connected to America, but it was included. Why? because Saudi Arabia dared to challenge Washington on oil policy. Singapore did not. This is where China and Russia drew the line. BRICS is for countries that go their own way from America, not for those who lean on it. This decision affects not just Singapore, but also ASEAN. ASEAN is an organization built on balance. Indonesia, which is the biggest player, has already joined BRICS. If Singapore had also joined, this balance could have been upset. That's why China and Russia also stopped Singapore to keep Indonesia's role strong. I mean, in global politics, a system saying no is not just a refusal, it's a message. If Singapore's case shows this, BRICS has made it clear wealth and power are not enough. If your loyalty is divided, the door is closed to you. This is why countries like Iran and Ethiopia got a place. But Singapore did not. In today's world, even being neutral seems suspicious. And this is the new game of global power. Who to include and to critique and who to keep out. This decision by BRICS shows that the politics of the future will be built not just on economics, but on loyalty and symbolism. Singapore is out. And perhaps this will shape its destiny in ways the world isn't even thinking about today.